It's underscore. This week, the Time Pals explore the universe. All of them, especially the ones that present an alternate to the one that I'm in now, where anxiety is currency and my constant state of panic is viewed as a sign of virility. These episodes are the time part of the Time Pals name. Joining me for this one is forever guest host, Spartan.
This is Sparta!
One thing I forgot, man. I didn't get a chance to pimp your YouTube for the retrospective page last episode, most likely because I have a general discuss for episode 1. But as always, you can find ShadoSpartan's amazing retrospectives in the description link. And then finally, hopefully, the last pal that I will ever need, and a host of 1,000 questions that all demand to be asked at once, Nickell.
Oh, hello.
So in order to set the tone so it doesn't get too unwieldy, I'm trying to contain the episode to just multiverses, shared verses, and implied universes together. I'll be using the comic historian, I think his name is Don Markstein, and his criteria for what he considered to be a shared universe. Basically, he wanted to separate crossovers and one-off collaborations, and I kind of like the way he did it. So his main criteria: if characters A and B have met, then they are in the same universe. If B and C have met, then transitively, A and C must be in the same one. The additional criteria: characters cannot be connected to real people, or otherwise Savage Dragon and the Predator are in the same universe because they both met Barack Obama. Same goes for anything that doesn't originate from the publisher. Otherwise, Superman and Fantastic Four are in the same universe because they all met Greek gods. Characters are only considered to have met each other if they appear together at least once in a story. And Markstein died before he could have an opinion on downloadable content, but to carry his torch a little bit, I didn't count anything that the publisher didn't create or dump in a one-off. So no LeBron James meeting Darth Vader in Fortnite, no Chucky running around with Ash because they're both in Dead by Daylight. Obviously, the shared universe concept has been around for a while, found in movies, television, comics, novels, video games. So for this episode, just to kind of make it a little bit tidier, I'm staying in the realm of movies and TV. So Nickell, go ahead and kick us off, man.
Okay. So now I'm really rethinking my connection here. What was the first part? So if A and B
have met, they're in the same.
Okay. Like we're thinking of transitive property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If B and C has met C?
Yep. Well, they're at least in the same universe.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Transitive property. Okay. Because I was about to, I had a lawyer argument written up. Sort of.
I didn't mean for the multiverse to go where fun goes to die, man. I thought it was a fun concept. I didn't mean to ruin the show already.
No. Okay. No, it's all right. Oh shit. I mean, every good lawyer has to have a screw thrown in their gears, right?
Sure.
Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna dive into my childhood full of action movies, cheesy action movies, like James Bond and The Rock.
Cool.
The cheesy 91s, Con Air, The Rock. But more importantly, what if I told you that The Rock was actually the James Bond movie?
I would call you a liar and a coward.
Oh, what if I told you that director Michael Bay's and my favorite Michael Bay movie was in fact a James Bond movie?
Michael Bay made a James Bond movie?
Michael Bay made a James Bond movie.
Michael Bay, Transformers, Bad Boys, Michael Bay. Not like there's some indie director, Michael Bay, sitting in the wings.
Oh, my friend, Mr. Underscore, listen to me. All right, so, let me lay out my points first. Then, if you want, you can fight me.
Okay.
But you will have to physically fight me on it.
I like my chances.
Okay. Okay. So, first of all, my first point is every actor that's ever played James Bond is a James Bond, a different James Bond, right?
Okay. We're going with that.
Okay.
Because typically people always say it's the same James Bond, right?
Nope.
You're going with the idea that James Bond is a code name, right?
James Bond is a code name, an idea, if you will.
I got you. I know this one.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't think I need to explain the James Bond much,
No, but
but
Dom, do you know what it's talking about when it comes to the code name? So like instead of James Bond being the same person from the 60s going on all these adventures, 007 is actually like a designation. Every James Bond has a beginning and an end. So like the first one, George Lazenby's one, I think he doesn't die. He gets married, right? The second one, Sean Connery's one dies after getting stabbed with poison. You know, Pierce Brosnan's one is I think still stuck in jail somewhere. So instead of it like one guy, everybody is new. So every new James Bond, in theory, you could just keep replacing. It's like a Doctor Who thing.
but more importantly, do I need to explain? You know what? Yeah, for fun, let me explain the plot of The Rock, okay? Just for some backstory.
I never saw the movie, so please explain.
You've never seen the movie? What?
No.
The Rock?
You have to see it.
Haven't seen it, so go ahead and
It's
spoil it for me.
best
never seen it.
movie. It might be his best movie.
Here we go. And for anybody who has never seen it, we start with Nicolas Cage, a FBI chemical specialist. He's called upon because Ed Harris, the main bad guy, and a bunch of other ex-military people have stolen a bunch of VX gas. Do you know what VX gas is?
No idea.
That shit will melt your face off.
Okay.
That shit will melt your face off. Okay? Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. They showed it in the movie. It was crazy. It was mad.
That's right. But not in Face Off.
Right. Not in Face Off. Not it will melt your face off. But not in the other Nick Cage movie. So they actually take hostages on I don't know if you've heard of this place, The Rock, Alcatraz. Yeah.
Heard of it.
Yeah. This is the frigging intense blow 'em up movie with the beautiful background of San Francisco. So it does hold a place in my heart. In any case, they have to, take the chemical specialist, Stanley Godspeed, Nick Cage.
His name was Godspeed. I fucking forgot about that. You know what I mean? It couldn't be like John.
No. Sorry. No, it was Goodspeed. Goodspeed.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, not Godspeed. Goodspeed.
Gotcha. Gotta get God out of the microwave.
But I mean, it very, very faintly veiled, right?
Right.
Anyway, so now we have Nick Cage and the FBI agents, and they have to get British Special Agent John Mason.
I'm with you. I'm listening. This might be a dramatic pause because John Mason, I'm assuming this is about James Bond, so we're going to learn why he's James Bond. I don't want to spoil it for you, but if he's going to argue he's James Bond, he's wrong. Honestly, every time he says The Rock, I'm just going to add an explosion.
I've heard of the movie. I've heard of the theory that it's a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
But I've never actually sat down and watched it.
Here's the thing. I'm not even kidding. There's maybe 3 Michael Bay movies I enjoy. I like Bad Boys, I like Transformers, and I like The Rock. I heard Pain and Gain is good, but I've never seen it.
I did drop.
Did you?
Oh.
Yeah, you're back now.
It's going to be impossible. Okay. So, British Special Agent Mason. He was the only one to escape from Alcatraz. But of course, John Mason, British Special. The British government disavows him. He escaped from Alcatraz in 62? 63. That's important. So anyway, they have to break into The Rock.
Reverse the reverse. I like you. See? Told you Michael Bay is a clever man. He is my version of your Zack Snyder.
Okay, now that we have the backstory, that's all you really need to know. Okay, so John Mason is an authority figure, a fake name.
Are you calling a spy a liar, sir?
Okay, next.
Oh, where is this going? Mason is a British guy. Fuck it.
All right. But in the movie, they're like, oh, no, John Mason doesn't exist. Just like any government with a spy, they would disavow him. In the first Bond
That's
movie,
the job. Did they say why he goes to jail? I don't
Doctor
remember.
No. Oh, they.
I don't remember.
Well, hold on. This I got plenty of notes. I can jump ahead and jump back. So
No, no.
in the second time he goes to jail for a time, 20 years. They never, if I can recall, they never said exactly why he went to jail first time. So let me walk you through this timeline. In Doctor No, which was released in 62. So we can assume that it took place around the year 1962.
Mm-hmm.
The first Bond, Doctor No, that actually is amazing about sent to prison.
Repeat that, Nickell, because something cut out.
At the end of Doctor No, which he refused help from IA agents, which maybe assume that like that was him. He got picked up as like maybe a henchman.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So the first Bond movie, Doctor No, was released in 62, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can assume it took place in that same year.
Right.
In The Rock, it says John Mason was sent to The Rock in 62 and escaped in 63.
Okay.
The same year that From Russia with Love was released, another Bond movie, right?
Right.
You guys following me? Okay.
Yeah. I'm starting to figure you out.
Okay, so to answer your original question before like I really cut out, at the end of Doctor No, he refused help from CIA agents. And so it could be assumed that maybe he was picked up and assumed to be a henchman. Now, at the beginning of From Russia with Love, there was this girl that was like yelling at him for ignoring her for 6 months.
I don't remember that.
I assume that for James, 6 months could be enough time for the year to turn over and for somebody like James Bond to escape Alcatraz.
I see. So you're connecting it because a woman he had sex with in Russia said, "I haven't seen you in 6 months."
Hold on.
I'm with you. I'm with you. No.
All right.
I got you. It was a different time. Nobody had the internet.
Now, okay. It's a different time. Now, I'm going off of, I'm combining the ideas and timelines from two separate movies. Okay.
Right. But in your explanation, it's a code name, so it's actually all one. That's why I'm allowing it. Your explanation would be like,
right.
Yeah, but the W7 is a code name, then they don't know. This guy isn't like 80 years old.
Right. Well, because I like James Bond. I like James Bond, and I like to fuck you. Now, okay. In The Rock, it actually implies that he was caught, like, for the longer part of his prison sentence, stealing microfilm.
Very spy kind of crime.
So he was caught stealing, I think, FBI film from like J. Edgar Hoover or something after his death. Okay, so this timeline then puts him in jail around 72, sometime after 72. Now, Sean Connery's last Bond film was in 1971.
Okay.
And it was called Diamonds Are Forever. Okay? It was called Diamonds Are Forever. Keep that in mind.
Are you going to link the word diamond to the slang word for diamond as being rocks? That just happened?
No. It's even better.
God damn it. We waited for you to get your internet connection fixed for that.
Oh, you're going to love it. Just wait.
Okay. I'm waiting.
You're going to love the connection.
I am following you.
So it could be postulated before kind of that was his last successful mission
So there's that explains the gap in time. Had the successful Diamonds Are Forever mission, something happens to him, which is him spending time on Alcatraz.
I didn't get very far. Just trying to counteract your shit talking.
I like my heroes American, okay?
All right, well, here you go. Now I'm getting into the real American hero. Hummel, the bad guy from The Rock. You ready for this one?
Yes.
So at the beginning of You Only Live Twice, 007 fakes his death in the opening. And there's like a newspaper article that says British naval commander dead, and it's Sean Connery's face.
Okay.
Now, if you remember The Rock, the entire plot was that Hummel, like a decorated war veteran, Vietnam War veteran, wanted reparations from the U.S. government for his combat
service. Yeah, as a young dude, that was honestly
Right.
one of the first times I've ever
Right.
seen a super sympathetic villain that wasn't just like, hey, somebody killed my girl. It's actually a higher calling kind of deal.
Right. Right. So you remember in the, I think it was in the shower scene when all of the Marines are looking
Massacred?
down at all the SEALs
Yeah.
from up above. And Hummel's like, what? He asks Mason, what's your name and rank, sailor? And Mason says, I was in the army. Right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
says,
I got you.
He says he was in the army.
Which you wouldn't say. I get you.
But it's likely that Hummel recognized the newspaper article about James Bond being a sailor. Okay? There's another connection. Now keep in mind these are all loose connections, but you know, I'm not but they're interesting.
You are interesting. Now, let me ask you. So,
Yeah.
are any of the movies that Michael Bay does, are they any of them connected to The Rock as well? Like, do any other characters show up anywhere else?
Oh, fuck no. Oh, no. Jesus. No. This is like the only good Michael Bay movie. I don't want any of them connected to
Sure,
this.
Bad Boys is calling, and yes, he begs to differ. Bad Boys 2
like
is also calling, and it's a pain in the ass, but he won't stop knocking on my door, but it's pretty good too.
I like his movie The Island.
Connect Bad Boys to The Rock and James Bond, and I'll be impressed.
So,
all right. No, I'm not done just quite yet. Okay.
Hmm?
So, remember I said diamonds are forever.
Yes.
Okay. So John Mason in The Rock escapes like custody. You remember that scene like in the beginning of the movie?
Great scene.
And then he ends up escaping with lots of Michael Bay explosions and shit, right?
Right.
And why does he escape? Do you remember?
Honestly, I do not.
To meet his estranged daughter.
Oh, God damn it. That's right. You know what's sad is I'm like, it's probably going to be a kid. Fucking right. I should have said it out loud. I forgot that was a big plot point. That's right.
Okay. Now, to me, really wasn't a big plot point. It was a poor excuse to have car chases and explosions. However, it is a huge plot point in my point. So while his daughter's age like wasn't specifically said in the movie, the actress was born in December of 1971. Okay, I looked that up, which like by Hollywood standards would put her well in the time frame of the end.
Yeah.
Diamonds Are Forever and John Mason going to jail.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that I want to postulate that James Bond's last mission, last successful mission, Diamonds Are Forever, or should I say John Mason's last successful mission, Diamonds Are Forever, was his last mission before he said, I'm gonna get out. And then he got caught. Okay? But I would like to think that at some point before Diamonds Are Forever happened, at some point in the John Mason and San Francisco timeline, in true 007 fashion, he did say, I always wanted to catch crabs in San Francisco.
You can't hold that way for a crab joke. I love it to death. You're not going to get an argument from me. And the reason being is that I'm a proponent of 007 as a code number or a code name and not one person. So any argument that goes, hey, look, you can explain people not being there because it's not one guy, I'm 100% for. I haven't really heard this argument before regarding like this is the shared universe, but I think you're going to be in the right on it.
It's a very extremely niche argument.
Here's why you're right, honestly, is we're talking about a filmmaker who couldn't make robots fighting robots interesting for more than one movie. You know what I mean? Like he's niche and like breadcrumbs and like sprinkling in lore is not what he does. God bless him, man, but he does not.
No, I'm granted, this is not a theory I 100% believe in, but I read it and I was like, okay, I can follow this. And then I thought of the joke. And then I was like, now
I'm building,
100%.
7 hours of research to get to one joke just to make underscore kind of laugh a little bit to himself is exactly the odds I love. No, Shadow knows, but that's entirely the reason I even have this show. So just so we can move it along and not for any other reason, man. But in a dumb coincidence, because I chose the Tarantino universe or the Tarantino verse. Quentin Tarantino, if you don't know, is an uncredited writer on The Rock. So he helped do some script doctoring for that script. I don't know what he did. I know that he's linked for it. A lot of times when someone's uncredited, it means they're a script doctor. So they change stuff here and there and then somebody else takes, you know what I mean? So I don't know what part of his storyline was in there. I don't remember feet, but at the same time, like it's whatever's in there he's got words in there, which brings me to me.
Is The Rock is part of the Tarantino verse?
A little bit. I've kind of somehow linked you to me and didn't even fucking know it until right now. Aside from like maybe the Pixar universe, one of the most talked about for film idiots is the Tarantino verse. It doesn't get the same amount of play it did when way back when we were in college. I think that's probably when you first heard of it, I would bet. But I do remember the first time I was made aware that all of his movies don't just take place in the same universe, but they actually are now built on a specific timeline. So you could, in theory, watch all of his movies from the very beginning of a timeline to now, right? He did an interview a while ago where he basically said that he's got two universes in one. He has what's called the real world, called the realer than real. And then that's basically the timeline we're in now, only more vulgar and violent and obsessed with pop culture. And then, which I guess is fucking kind of what we do anyway, but fans basically agreed on that it started when Hitler died in Inglourious Basterds in such a violent way that society began to produce violent entertainment to ride that wave of patriotic bloodlust, and basically create a whole universe where violence isn't a taboo but is celebrated. The other set is basically the universe where you would go see a movie and none of it's real. So the other set is called the movie universe. So he has the realer than real universe and the movie universe. And the way he described it back in the day was Vincent Vega from Pulp Fiction and Dick Vega from Reservoir Dogs are brothers. They can go out and see Kill Bill at a movie theater, but the bride from Kill Bill and stuntman Mike can't go team up and assassinate somebody because they're not real. And mind you, he probably said all this shit while eating from one giant Coke nostril. I'll go right ahead.
Wait, no. Wait. That again?
So the way he described it was Vincent Vega and Vic Vega. Vincent Vega from Pulp Fiction, and which is John Travolta. Yeah. Vic Vega from Reservoir Dogs, which is Michael Madsen. Yeah. They are brothers in his canon, right? So they can go to a movie theater and see a movie that has the bride in it,
right?
But the bride who's an assassin and Stuntman Mike who's a psychopath, they can't do a team up and go kill Marcellus Wallace, for example, because Marcellus Wallace exists in his real world.
Okay.
You know? And I thought it was brilliant.
Okay.
I thought it was brilliant, and really thought it out, man. Like you can kind of picture. I mean, you know how his personality, just gesturing wildly like a conductor, conducting a living nightmare, constant motion, and I can see 100% him even from the very beginning, like probably Reservoir Dogs, just planning this out. There's some of the more popular Tarantino verse connections. He invented brands to make them feel real, so he could use them wherever he wanted to, as opposed to just generic hamburger joint, right? So he made Big Kahuna Burger, appears in Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, and then in his fantasy world, it also appears in From Dusk Till Dawn. So it's almost the equivalent of real world. I'm eating a Big Kahuna Burger. We all know what that is. And then you watch a movie and they're eating one in there too, like they got a deal with McDonald's. Everybody who smokes, they only smoke Red Apple cigarettes, because for him, that is the main cigarette out there.
Right.
Lots of little things too.
Right.
Django Unchained, one of the bounties is a member of a gang called the Smitty Bacall Gang, named Crazy Craig Coons. And I know you're going to like this. So Crazy Craig is the great-great-grandfather of Captain Coons, who was played by Christopher Walken, who I've heard you imitate a million times when we were in high school. He's the guy, if you don't know, Dom, that hid an uncomfortable hunk of metal up his ass because it was his boy's birthright. Same timeline, both of them connected. That's the great-great-grandson.
You father gave this to me.
I heard no BS Shadow. I heard that impression from him and my other buddy a million times. I loved it every time. The Bear Jew and Inglourious Basterds, right? Eli Roth is the father of the film producer character in the Tarantino written True Romance that sells drugs to basically other characters. In that same movie, Brad Pitt plays Lieutenant Aldo from Bastards, played Aldo Rain, right? The main guy with the mustache. He then, in True Romance, played his own grandson. Obviously in that moment, Tarantino just basically said, hey, I have Brad Pitt already. Why not just use him again? But kind of amazing, right? Like he thought about it enough to be like, okay, look, Aldo Rain, that is the grandfather of drug dealer from True Romance. One that I really liked that I read.
Go
ahead.
Okay, all right. But here's my thing. Can you justify it to a genealogy, or is it just based off of laziness? He just didn't want to think of other names.
There is some truth to that. I'm not gonna lie.
They're relatives.
We don't want to put the work in. So if you just give us, like the MCU cats, give us a little bit of shit, we will run with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
If Robert Downey Jr. is
meanwhile here I am into James Bond doing all this connections. So okay, so I'm making all these connections, like doing all the research, and you're just like, oh, here's fucking Quentin Coquette Tarantino. Like, just don't want to come up with different names.
Yeah, that sounds like a you problem. So for me, I like stuff when it's awesomely convoluted. Michael Madsen, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever read when I was looking this up. So I did a little research. Okay, man, I read a wiki. So Michael Madsen played. It's one I've loved since I learned about it. Way back in college. I will go to a movie theater, no bullshit, watching his movies and waiting for some random throwaway product placement or family connection where I'm like, oh, that links into this. I better go check to see if I'm right.
Okay, right on. Yeah.
Let me give you this last one because it's the dumbest one I've heard, but it's the best one for me. So Michael Madsen plays a cowboy actor in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood who has the same mannerisms as the cowboy actor that Mike plays in Kill Bill. That means that in the Tarantino universe, an actor who looks like Michael Madsen played a cowboy in Kill Bill in the past was inspired by an older actor played by Michael Madsen who acted in movies in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't know why, but I love just the fucking gall and like the arrogance of him writing that. Michael Madsen is two actors who were inspired by each other. I had to lay down when I read that shit,
So,
but it was amazing to me.
okay, okay. So instead of not coming up with a different name, he just did a different character.
Yeah, exactly. I love shit like that. I just love him. I just love the idea of him being like, well, let's see, I need a cowboy actor. Well, Madsen was good in Kill Bill. He played a cowboy. Why doesn't he play a cowboy in this one? And you know what? Instead of being this convoluted thing where they're brothers or great grandfathers or something like that, they're both just actors who watched each other's movies. It's such a, it's
I, I,
such a brilliant form of bullshit that I have to love it.
yeah, no, you're right. You're spot on. Like, you can't argue with his movies. I mean, I can't, at least. I like them. Um, and you, like, who the fuck cares
Yeah.
if they're the same characters?
They're for guys like me, the same cats who they look for the little things in MCU and DCU. You almost want to see this stuff. You know what I mean? It makes you happy that you caught it versus anything else.
Yes. Yes. That's like I've been watching a lot of the original X-Men series, and I'm like, man, there are a lot of characters that shoot powers from their hand. But they all had different colored hair and stuff. But they all got the same power.
They all did the same. Yeah, they all did the same lights. I know Shadow's got to get out pretty soon, so I'll have him do his last one right now.
Oh, don't worry. You save the best for last.
Of course.
Because this multiverse makes perfect sense. The Snyderverse, the all-time best multiverse ever. The Snyderverse. And can you believe that I figured out that Watchmen, Sucker Punch, and even 300 are all part of that same universe? Are you ready for my evidence?
God damn it.
Oh, what? Okay.
No, I've heard of this.
Now you got me. I'm listening.
I heard of this. Go ahead and reel it.
Oh,
reel
really?
Nickell,
you heard of
please.
this? Really?
Reel in Nickell.
Reel in the choke.
Yeah, reel him in.
Okay. Because I literally made this up 5 minutes ago. So here we go.
Thank God. Thank God.
Let's start.
I've heard though, honest though, no bullshit though. I've heard that he has movies that do connect. Doesn't Snyder actually have movies that connect?
Not in that way. Not so much that they share the same universe, except for the DC ones.
I wonder. I guess maybe it is just DC.
Aren't those other movies?
They're all his. Yeah, they're all his movies.
Yeah, that he
Were they
did.
directed by Zack Snyder?
Yeah, they're all directed by Zack Snyder.
That's why it feels so real to me.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm not that intrigued anymore. Boom.
I was just gonna say, one of the actresses, Jenna Malone, who's in Sucker Punch, who played Rocket, she did a small cameo in Batman vs Superman as an analyst. So I was like, oh, it's the same actress. So therefore, Sucker Punch and the Snyderverse, the DC movies, are all part of the same.
Nine rules, no. But I hear the but, and you're gonna fuck up my argument. So go ahead.
And then you have the actor Billy Crudup, who played, was it Mr. Manhattan or Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen, played Barry Allen's father in Zack Snyder's Justice League. And so therefore Dr. Manhattan is probably just in disguise playing as the Flash's father.
Did any of them smoke a red apple cigarette?
No. And then you're probably wondering, how did I get 300 into the same universe as superheroes and Watchmen?
Because you love Zack Snyder so much.
No, the only correlation that I have is now that I've got Watchmen and the Snyderverse together, that therefore then means Gerard Butler, who played Leonidas in 300, he also did a voice in the ultimate cut of Watchmen. So therefore, he's also connected in that way. So that's how 300 is also connected. Makes perfect sense.
I hate all of it.
Very much. I'm gonna drop the microphone and I'm gonna walk off stage.
You will get credit from me because
No,
If
that's
we
not
had no rules, if this was a no rule lawless society, you would actually have won this argument 100%. But thankfully, sir, we live in a democracy. I'm overruling everything that he's ever done from here on in.
Can't
no.
silence me. Hashtag restore the
Listen,
Snyderverse.
I take a special offense to this because I went all that way, all that research for that good ass joke, and then
Yeah.
you just probably improvised your shit while I was talking.
Yeah.
That's
You know what's
literally
funny?
what happened.
Oh, you know what's funny, Shadow, is Nickell was an improv actor, and I think you just outdid him.
Wow.
And you have no acting training. That's amazing.
No, not at all.
I went through all that work just to spit a written Sean Connery joke.
It's a good joke, man. Crabs are funny.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, crabs are great. Unfortunately, I don't know if we'll be able to hear any of it because of your connection, but I laughed. So here's what we'll do. You guys mind if I run through my real or fake shared universes? Because it almost works perfect with Dom, with Shadow.
All right,
Cool. It'll be real quick. So basically, all you guys have to do, I'm going to read a synopsis. Some of these are real, some of these are fake. If you want to answer, and then whoever gets the most points wins. I only have 7 or basically 6.5 of these. It goes perfect with yours since you made it up. Your entire Zack Snyderverse, which I can feel is a $500 million project that Netflix will probably get out there pretty soon. We'll start with this one. I have no cute name for it, just real or fake shared universes. First one. In the Phantom Menace, the Assagen race of all ballsack aliens are besties, and the Assagians are represented by Galactic Senator named Galactic Senator Greyblips to become part of the new empire once the Republic falls. Senator Greyblips was charged with treason. Connected books will later put the Assagen homeworld on the outer rim of the planet Soloy. Real or fake? I hate Star Wars, and just reading that whole sentence gave me a stroke.
I'm gonna say fake.
Dom think that's real.
I'm gonna say fake.
Fake. So
Dom thinks it's real.
Dom thinks it's all real. That shit is real. So the Assagen race is actually the real name of the ETs from Spielberg's movie.
Uh-huh.
Once he threw it in there, we couldn't just have it as a cameo. Lucas had to give him a backstory, had to give him a fucking senator named Greyblips because it's Lucas. Of course, he didn't make a second goddamn draft. And then had to make them part of the fucking empire because, of course.
Of course.
So we got that one. Number 2. I'm not even keeping score anymore. Fuck it. Blade Runner, Aliens, and motherfucking Kurt Russell in The Soldier are all the same universe. So hear me out. The movie Blade Runner establishes that flying police spinners are existing on the Narcissus shuttle in the movie Alien. Soldier implies that Kurt Russell's character, Sergeant Todd, is a replicant, and a police spinner from Blade Runner can be seen on the planet that Soldier takes place on. Nobody saw Soldier, so I might have just made this whole thing up, but Kurt Russell mentions he fought in Blade Runner's Shoulder of Orion battle, so in theory, the replicants in Blade Runner are the same replicants in Soldier, and they all exist to be killed by facehuggers. Real or fake?
It's real.
Sounds real.
I believe it's real.
You guys are right. Real. Confirmed by a Blade Runner writer that the implications was on purpose, but they could never really follow up because all 3 properties are owned by different people.
Of course. That's how Hollywood works.
Exactly. Only a few more for you guys. Ghost Rider and Casper switch places because of Richie Rich. Hear me out. In a 13-part series, a demon from Ghost Rider's world shapeshifts into Richie Rich's father and begins to wreak havoc in the Harvey Comics universe. Casper, the friendly fucking ghost, asks the help of Wendy the Witch, who magics Casper so hard into the Marvel universe that he bounces off the face of hell and knocks into Ghost Rider by coincidence. Ghost Rider, seeing his chance to whip up a demon for just the sake of beating up a demon, uses magic inside of Casper, enters the Harvey Comics universe, and starts wreaking havoc. Casper literally then hides out under a New York stand fruit cart for about maybe 3 or 4 issues. Real or fake?
Gotta be fake.
I feel like that's a side story from a Deadpool episode or something like that. I want to say
real. It is fake, but it actually almost happened. This was a storyline that was pitched by Harvey Comics for the Marvel Universe because they actually did the Archie stuff too. So if Archie and the Punisher can meet up and hang out, Why not Casper and Ghost Rider? All right. You're going to love this one because I had to figure this out myself. Back to the Future and Transformers in what might have resulted in the most lazy comic book covers ever written, which can be summed up just like you said how X-Men just have hand magic as just lightning thrown at a Decepticon while Marty McFly cowers in fear. That's all it is. After the first movie, Marty McFly returns to Hill Valley, wakes up from a nap in a dystopia of machines. Fly then meets Starscream and flees until he meets an Autobot named Gigawatt. He trusts because Christopher Lloyd was never told how to pronounce that name correctly, but they just did the mispronunciation and added into the comic. Doc shows up, fixes Gigawatt, who dies preventing Megatron from waking up from his tomb, and Doc and Marty go back to Hill Valley. Marty gets a new pickup truck that is secretly Decepticon because the whole robots in disguise thing. Real or fake?
This sounds like a fan fiction film.
It sounds like something I just wrote for me in high school.
Yeah.
It sounds faker than the last one. I feel like you would throw a real one. I'm gonna say real.
And you'd be right. The summary sounds up like a fever dream. Don't get me wrong. When I was looking at my research, I'm like, well, this is a fake comic book cover. There's no way. This is one lazy as shit. And who the fuck puts these guys together? Completely real. It was like a 6-part series. A couple more for you guys. So, Rocky Balboa joins G.I. Joe to fight the Soviets. In the lead up to Rocky IV, a special set of collectibles were made in the same vein as the Sergeant Slaughter and William Refrigerator Perry, joining the realest of most American heroes. Not in depth, according to the file cards attached to the packaging, Flint enters a charity boxing match between himself and a judo kangaroo rescued from a previous mission, with Rocky Balboa as a special guest referee. Before the fight can begin, Destro kidnaps Rocky, forces him to a fight with Major Blood in an effort to break him and have him join the bad guys. The file cards never show the complete story, but if you relieve the events of Rocky IV, somewhere in there, Rocky and Apollo beat Cobra and eventually reunite the Soviet Union. Real or fake?
This sounds real enough to me.
That is 1,000% real in my fever dreams.
So, fake, but almost real. There's actually a character mock-up card of Rocky joining G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I could see that.
Rock has a stick with a boxing glove taped to the end. So it's like the weapons you see in the Anchorman fight.
Refrigerator Perry?
Yeah. Richard Perry is a G.I. Joe. And you gotta see the card that they came up with, man. Rocky Balboa is literally carrying a stick with a boxing glove taped to each end. It's the best fucking thing ever. The guy can throw punches. He's hitting people with a stick. It's the Anchorman fight. It's a dude with a trident and a baseball bat with scissors taped to it. It's fucking brilliant. You have to look at it. Last two. Scooby-Doo spent 2 movies solving crimes with John Cena. That's it. That's
true.
Fuck wrestling, I know, right? Well, then last one. Scream and Kevin Smith's View Askew universe. So this one, Jay and Silent Bob are tourists visiting Sunrise Studios. Fuck it, I should have finished it because I don't know.
Knowing Kevin Smith, yeah.
So here's the thing.
That's true.
It's right. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Just to finish it. Jay and Silent Bob are there in Scream 3. Technically, it's fake because Smith didn't want the cameo to be canon, but for all intents and purposes, they're the characters. You know what I mean? So like, I know this is one of those rare times where I know the creator said it's not real, but it's real because they're the same guys that they're in Clerks 2, Clerks 3, and all the other shit. There's no way that you can't look at that and be like, oh, these aren't the same guys. So yeah, that's it for me. Aside from the technical difficulties, I'm glad we kind of got the chance to do this because once I started doing the research on it, I forgot how much I love this kind of shit. I mean, fucking Transformers and Back to the Future. You know what I mean? Like Blade Runner and Aliens in the same universe. It does spark. I know you can argue that it's not genuine. It's just people trying to make a buck by adding 2 things together. But what I like about the definition of crossover versus shared is crossover, you just throw somebody out there, you make the quick buck of Superman fighting, Captain America, and then nothing really matters. So it doesn't really exist, right? Here you can go back to it anytime you want. So I know I enjoy that. I don't really have anything else.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I really enjoy trying to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Trying to make the argument for.
I wasn't prepared for you to come at me with an argument, so thank you for that. I like it. Yeah. This feels like a good place to pump the brakes on exploring more multiverses. So thank you, pals, for indulging me in my geeky bullshit. The nice thing about diving into shared universes, it's kind of evergreen. There's so many different worlds to discover. Some of them might even still have Mr. Bortman in it to commentate. So yeah, for the Time Pals, I'm _ for Nickell. And as always, ShadoSpartan, you can catch his stuff on YouTube. It's the Time Pals, and we'll see you next time.